Hello everybody, Josh12 back here again with a brand new video. Yes, I am back talking about Dragon Ball. It's been a while since I've talked all things Dragon Ball. I took a large break from talking about Dragon Ball Super. I really wanted to be around to talk about the finale of that series, but I just really lost my general interest with that show. Although I did enjoy what definitely happened with that show, and I definitely ended up talking about it on my Twitter, which of course doesn't exist anymore, but nonetheless, I am back talking about Dragon Ball, but not Super, not the upcoming movie. I'm here to talk about Heroes. Now, for those of you who don't know, Dragon Ball Super obviously is in some kind of weird hiatus where it's gone, but it's still quasi in production. We have the movie that's coming out in December and possibly a new series beyond that, but there's not really any official word on that. However, there is an anime series to keep us somewhat intrigued with this franchise just a little bit longer until this movie comes out at the end of the year, which obviously is Super Dragon Ball Heroes. If you have been a fan of the franchise up until now, you already know that Dragon Ball produces a lot, and I mean a lot, of video game contents. There is so many video games out there of Dragon Ball, and don't get me wrong, I may not be a hardcore fan of that stuff, but I definitely appreciate the impact that Dragon Ball has had in video game form. But man, there is a lot of stuff, and they've created their own specific continuities and timelines and canons within these video games, and the most popular being Dragon Ball Heroes. Now, Heroes is not really an international thing, it's very specific to Japan. If you know anything about Heroes, then you probably already know the history far greater than I could even try to explain it in this video, which is why I'm not really going to get into that. However, I have been really intrigued by Heroes. I've looked at it from time to time. I've really enjoyed the cutscenes and the various fan servicey sequences I've seen of that specific continuity and content. However, it's never been something I've been entirely invested. I've said this before, I'm not a hardcore fan of Dragon Ball video games. I loved them when I was a kid. Nowadays, I just don't really care. It's cool that people love Xenoverse, they love fighters, but for me, it's just not really my cup of tea nowadays. However, I do have an appreciation for all things Dragon Ball, and I definitely like to keep my ears open, so to speak, for anything that's new in the franchise. And Heroes is definitely one of those things. And I've dabbled in that lore here and there. I picked up the manga. I definitely find it somewhat intriguing. The artwork could definitely be a million times better, but I've never had a deep investment with Heroes. I always thought of what it really is, which is video game fan fiction-y fan service content. However, they've done an anime series of it. They have created a promotional anime series for Dragon Ball Heroes, Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and starting off this series is the Prison Planet. And we just got our first glimpse at the very first episode of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, and specifically this Prison Planet arc. And I'm here to give you my personal thoughts and review for it. So I hope you enjoy Super Dragon Ball Heroes Episode 1. Spoilers if you've not seen it. It's about 8 minutes long. It's really not that long of a series, and it's just a promotional anime. It's a companion piece to the game. Kind of similar to how Dragon Ball Super manga is just a companion promotional piece to the anime series. It's the same thing here. But nonetheless, we got our first episode, and essentially the overall plot is future Trunks and future Mai have traveled back in time into the present timeline, which is the Super timeline, for reasons very unlogical, I guess, which is, hey, they want to visit our good old friends Goku and Vegeta and train with them. Why? I don't really know. It doesn't make that much sense. If I recall correctly, didn't Beerus say never time travel again? Well, they did it anyways. So they come back. Unfortunately, Trunks has been kidnapped. By who? Why? It doesn't really matter. He's kidnapped and he's over at the Prison Planets. And the Prison Planet is this mini solar system that's grouped together and chained up by very illogically large chains. And as stupid as it looks, I really like it for some reason. I don't know. Conceptually, it just reminds me of like some kind of Marvel DC multiverse kind of image. So for some reason, I really like it. And also the concept of some kind of dystopian prison planet is really cool. It's like, let's have Dragon Ball characters do crazy things in like a Total Recall-esque kind of world. Let's do that. Goku and Vegeta get wind of this, and travel to the prison planet, and that's where they meet up with not only the character of Few, which I'm guessing is going to be the main architect-esque villain of this specific saga, but also Xeno Goku. And for those you don't know, Xeno Goku is a alternate timeline Goku who essentially takes place in this weird timeline where he's a part of, if you played any of the video games you know this, but he's a part of the Time Patrol thing with Trunks. And he's not a God Goku, he's not Super Saiyan Blue or any of those things. He's a Goku that's not experienced anything in Super. He's basically a post-Z, post-GT character. So he is Super Saiyan 4 level, but he can tap into God Ki for reasons. So basically he's GT Goku, but like power scaled way high. So anyways, once again, not really making that much sense. Goku appears. And I have to say, it's really the best thing in this episode. This episode is extremely short, unfortunately. However, there is a highlight. The highlight is very obvious. Goku versus Goku. Not Evo Goku versus Goku. It's simply just two Gokus who are both good fighting each other. And of course we get the return of Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I have to say it is so utterly beautiful and amazing. And the way Goku just presents himself, Xeno Goku rather, brings me such chills and excitement. There's nothing truly magnificent visually, but for some reason I just get a real kick out of just seeing Super Saiyan 4 Goku just power up and attack. I mean, Super Saiyan 4 Goku will always be, at least protagonist-wise, hero-wise, one of my favorite versions of Goku, and the more years that pass by, Dragon Ball GT just sits very well with me for some reason, and I have a large appreciation for it as years go by. But yeah, just seeing him do those things is just really cool. Plus, I really enjoy the conceptual design of Xeno Goku as is. So overall, the package is just amazing. You get an awesome Alpha Goku versus Super Saiyan Blue Goku post-tournament power. Unfortunately, there's no Ultra Instinct involved, but nonetheless, we have a Super Saiyan Blue Goku versus a SS4 Goku. And it's decent. That's really all you can really say. And then beyond that, everything else in this episode is kind of just okay. We get some narrative pieces by Few, which I wasn't expecting that much. I was expecting Few to be more kind of how Zamasu was used in the Super series, very much behind the scenes, a growing supervillain-esque character, but right out of the gate, he's in there talking, saying things, doing things, and even though we don't see him technically fight, he's still a main antagonist within the show, which is interesting. I'm not going to say it's terrible, but it was definitely intriguing. And beyond that, the episode pretty much just plays out with the character of Cooler. Of course, if you remember him from the Cooler movies, appears upon Trunks and I guess unveils the prison planet to future Trunks. The show ends with a teaser of, I'm guessing, Few's general intentions for what he plans to do with this in this saga, and then of course a little glimpse at the possible main villain slash mysterious Saiyan, evil Saiyan character known as Cumber. But overall, that's pretty much it. That's the first episode of the show, and I just thought it was okay. I was not expecting a lot of narrative with this episode. It's an 8-minute episode. So I was expecting it just to be non-stop just cutscenes, but it was pretty direct in narrative, which was interesting. I wasn't expecting that, considering it's a promotional anime series specifically for a video game, especially if episode 1 was highly hinting at Goku versus Goku. You were expecting that to take place the majority of this episode, but it really wasn't. It was mostly just a lot of talking and a lot of setup, which is not terrible, but not incredibly interesting or fascinating, at least from my perspective. Nonetheless, there's not really anything I can really say that really took me out of the episode and viewing it negatively. I still feel the same generally post-episode, the same way I did with most of Hero's content, which is I find it intriguing, I find it fascinating and fun, but I'm not terribly invested with the story or with any of the contents. It's okay, it's cool, it has its fan base, but it's just not terribly my thing. All in all, the episode was just okay. I don't really feel like there is a place to truly judge it harshly the same way I did or anybody had done with Dragon Ball Super. I mean, we can sit here all day talking shit about that, but at the end of the day, this is a 8-minute promotional series that's based on a video game that's mostly a fan fiction-y-esque fan service story where there's multiple timelines and everything doesn't make that much sense. All I can say is that I was okay with the first episode. It wasn't phenomenal, but it was decent, and it was really nice to get at least a tiny little glimpse at Goku versus Goku, specifically Super Saiyan 4 and SS Blue. But that's going to be it for my personal thoughts on the first episode of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, the anime series. It was an okay, fun little episode, but nothing too crazy, nothing too extravagant to really get all hype about. But it was decent nonetheless, and I'm very intrigued to see what happens next, especially with this mysterious evil Saiyan character who is apparently so powerful and so unbelievably strong, but for some reason wears a straitjacket and a muzzle, yet can break out of it quite easily apparently. I don't know how that plays out, but let's see what happens. There's a whole bunch of fan service to be looking forward to. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoy my thoughts on Episode 1. Subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already. I'd really appreciate that. And this has been Josh12.